Beneath the ocean's surface, fear does not arrive with teeth, but with cold intelligence. The orca appears with almost no warning, each slow circle around the drifting ice a precisely calculated step. Its power is not defined by muscle, but by the moment the prey realizes every escape route has been sealed. The sea becomes a living chessboard, where every passing wave carries a clear intention. And when the pod's call rises through the water, the ocean's order is established in an instant. The orca is a marine mammal that sits at the top of the ocean food web. Its power is not defined by a single burst of speed, but by pod intelligence, where each role is assigned like a coordinated team. They communicate through sound, remember travel routes, and use echolocation to read the darkness beneath the surface. In any ocean, the orca's presence is a reminder of its role in maintaining natural balance, helping regulate populations and sustain order in marine ecosystems. Each year, gray whales make a punishing 12,000-mile round trip from the Arctic to Baja. A mother weighing nearly 90,000 pounds carries a promise of survival, guiding her calf, only about 2,000 pounds, across the open ocean. For the young one, every mile becomes a test of breathing rhythm, calm focus, and endurance. In open water, orcas arrive not with noise, but with a discipline that feels relentless. They spread into a horizontal line, reaching speeds up to 30 miles per hour to stir chaotic water and create hard-to-read angles, constantly working to separate the calf from the mother's protective wall. Instead of a straight charge, the orcas take turns closing in, disrupting surfacing timing and forcing the pair to spend more energy with each tightening loop of pursuit. Out on the deep blue, no strength is ever absolute. Even a giant carried by steady maternal resolve can pay the highest price if timing slips by half a step in the dance of survival. Along that fragile boundary, only those who hold on to persistence to the very end earn the chance to face tomorrow's sunlight. In the South Atlantic, the tide is not just an astronomical event. It is a high-stakes survival pulse. As the rising water covers jagged reefs, a leading female orca and her family begin the ocean's most dangerous journey. Their target is recently weaned elephant seal pups, weighing around 300 pounds. These young animals do not yet have the experience to recognize the danger sliding in with the incoming water. More than 20 feet long, the mother orca quietly threads into a narrow channel. This is a gamble measured in minutes. One misread of the falling tide, and the hunter can be stranded for good on the rocks. But the orca's intelligence does not end there. Moving into colder waters, they face elephant seals weighing about 1,000 pounds, resting high on drifting ice. Here, a coordinated team totaling roughly 12,000 pounds performs one of the most disciplined group tactics on Earth. They line up side by side, then drive their tails to send waves several feet high. The surge breaks the ice's stability and knocks the seal into frigid water, where the hunters are already in position. This is more than a hunt. It is a cultural legacy known as wave washing, passed down through generations. As ice shifts and water rises, disciplined teamwork and strategic intelligence become the ultimate advantage, allowing orcas to dominate across the planet's cold oceans. Across the deep blue surface, the great white shark, reaching about 20 feet long and nearly 5,000 pounds, has long been seen as a symbol of ocean power. But now that order is being tested by an opponent that is not only strong, but also calculating. The orca, with a brain that can weigh up to about 15 pounds and pod coordination that functions like a trained hunting unit. Rather than a chaotic contest of force, orcas turn the encounter into a precise tactical operation. They exploit a biological vulnerability in sharks, a temporary immobile state when the shark is turned upside down. With exact coordination, individual orcas use their body weight to control and roll the shark, leaving the solitary predator in a deep, unresponsive state with little ability to react. Their objective is not the entire animal, but the most energy-dense reward, an approach built on efficiency rather than prolonged pursuit. This efficiency can trigger a wave of avoidance. Once other great whites detect orca acoustic signals, they may leave the area immediately. It is a clear sign that a new era has begun for these masters of rough seas. In shallow water, stingrays press close to the bottom and glide in silence, blending into the sand as if they were part of the terrain. Orcas respond with a fourth skill, a deliberate tail slap that churns up sediment and strips away every layer of camouflage. When the ray is forced off the seafloor, the advantage flips instantly. The orca does not need a high-speed chase, only a short approach within a few feet, enough to seal the space and take control. What stands out here is not just strength, but adaptive thinking shaped to each species and each landscape, confirming the role of a true strategist of the ocean. On drifting ice, a pod works together to generate waves several feet high, breaking footing and forcing penguins into the cold water. Notably, Many younger individuals weighing thousands of pounds join these hunts not only for food, but as a process of learning and practicing skills in real conditions. Among their prey, sea lions weighing over 1,100 pounds demand the most specialized and daring pursuit techniques. This is especially true when they haul out on sandy beaches, briefly leaving their familiar environment and losing their usual alert advantage. The chase quickly becomes a high-stakes test of timing and control. Along the waters of Patagonia, orcas perform the dramatic tactic known as intentional stranding. They patiently study the tide's timing before surging up to 30 miles per hour, sliding their massive bodies onto the beach to seize the target in an instant. It is an extreme gamble. A small miscalculation in body placement or wave push can leave the dominant hunter stranded on shore for good. Across open miles of sea, they display another form of power driven by ocean dynamics. With a purposeful tail strike that can deliver thousands of pounds of force, an orca can fling an opponent more than 30 feet into the air. The impact can leave the target unable to respond and underscores the orca's overwhelming advantage in that moment. These behaviors are not simply instinct, but proof of a cultural legacy, where skills are refined and passed down through generations. In the blue depths, they stand as strategists shaped by the discipline of true masters. A humpback whale appears like a living fortress in the open ocean, with a body mass that can reach around 88,000 pounds. Its pectoral fins, nearly 16 feet long, sweep through the water slowly but with clear authority, forming a steady protective buffer around the mother and her calf. Across a migration that spans thousands of miles, this defensive structure helps keep most threats at a safe distance, while demanding near-perfect coordination between two enormous bodies. Orcas rarely choose a healthy adult at full strength. Instead, they shadow mother and calf pairs along the outer edge of the travel route, where rest cycles and surfacing rhythm become decisive. Under the lead of a dominant female, the pod splits its formation. One group disrupts the pair's direction, while another blocks retreat, maintaining constant pressure that forces the mother to change course and spend energy with every repeated turn. What sets this strategy apart is its level of precision. A seasoned individual matches movement to the pair's steady swim cadence, using the brief moment when the calf drifts just a few inches beyond the protective zone. When that shield is disrupted, the formation closes immediately, using position and body mass to control the space, pushing the mother to draw on every reserve of endurance to pull the calf back in. The pursuit ends with cold practicality. They focus on the most energy-efficient payoff, then move on as the ocean returns to its natural cycle. In that moment, the sea repeats an unchanging rule. Even the greatest giants endure by staying in rhythm with nature, where every form of power is paid for in energy. In the frozen north, the ground trembles as a grizzly bear surges forward. A massive frame cuts through the wind, each footfall landing like an order that cannot be resisted. In a split second, it bursts into speed, angles in close, and seals off every escape route. Without roaring or showing off, the grizzly bear uses sheer weight and relentless drive to close the distance. When that hunting machine starts moving, what prey has enough time left to get away? The grizzly bear is one of the largest omnivores in North America, with an adult male weighing around 1,300 pounds, built to store and release energy efficiently. Its raised shoulder hump is the center of its power, allowing it to dig, flip rocks, and command space in just a few short movements. An exceptional sense of smell helps the grizzly detect food from miles away, turning patience into a strategic advantage. More than just strong, the grizzly is also a symbol of adaptation, enduring harsh winters and helping maintain ecological balance in the places it dominates. North American bison stand like living fortresses across the Yellowstone backcountry, a species with high alertness and lightning-fast reactions to intrusion. At around 2,200 pounds, with horns nearly 2 feet long, they are not only powerful, but also ready to push back to protect the herd. When the grizzly bear appears, the herd's familiar rhythm shifts immediately. It keeps close to the group, studying formation, wind direction, and terrain, waiting for a small break in the herd's collective protection. Tension rises when an adult bison detects the threat and surges forward at nearly 35 miles per hour, forcing the grizzly to step back to avoid impact. But in that moment of disruption, the herd's focus stretches thin. A younger bison, lighter and slower, slips outside the protective ring. With patience and sharp situational reading, the grizzly quickly closes the distance and takes control of the space. The energy payoff from a rare opening like this can reach around 200,000 calories, enough to repay many days of waiting. In a test, this harsh persistence becomes the grizzly's most essential tool for survival. When the breeding season spreads across the northern forests, the atmosphere tightens in a different way. Male grizzly bears begin redrawing the map of dominance through scent and deep claw marks carved into tree trunks, often higher than 7 feet. Across territories spanning hundreds of square miles, each mark delivers a clear message. This ground is already claimed. Before any direct contact occurs, confrontation usually begins as psychological pressure. Two individuals weighing close to 1,000 pounds move in parallel, shoulders lifted, bodies displayed to exaggerate true size. Low-frequency sounds travel nearly half a mile, testing the resolve of a rival from a distance. Only when neither side yields does tension rise further. Heavy shoulder checks and brief attempts to control position unfold quickly, forcing one bear to retreat rather than prolong the encounter. In most cases, the weaker individual withdraws, as even minor injury can turn the coming winter into a serious risk. At the edge of the dispute, female grizzlies observe in silence. Their choice is shaped not only by momentary strength, but by the ability to hold territory and safeguard cubs during their fragile early months. For grizzly bears, rivalry within their own kind is not simply about mating. It is a test of balance between power, experience, and long-term survival instinct. In northern river systems, salmon season becomes the biological clock of the old forests. Millions leave the ocean and travel hundreds of miles upstream to return to their birthplace, carrying an energy source the grizzly bear cannot ignore. In the cold water, the grizzly does not rush. It selects natural bottlenecks in the current: low falls, rocky rapids, narrow bends, where salmon are forced to break the surface in short jumps, revealing clear paths. Here, the terrain performs much of the difficult work. The grizzly's focus is nearly absolute. Every movement is calculated to limit energy use. When a silver flash appears, the front legs extend with precision, securing control in an instant. A single successful catch can provide around 4,500 calories, enough for the body to add close to 3 pounds of fat per day during peak season. Not every reach ends cleanly. Rather than pursue, the grizzly steps back, adjusts position, and remains still beside the rushing water. Within this ecological cycle, strength lies in conserving energy and using it at the right moment. Each fish becomes a quiet step that carries the grizzly from a brief summer towards the long winter sleep ahead. On high mountain slopes and in elevated valleys, deer become a crucial energy source, as berry season begins to fade. At up to around 250 pounds, each animal represents a valuable reserve of protein that helps grizzly bears maintain condition before the cold sets in. Instead of a prolonged chase, the grizzly relies on short burst speed of up to 35 miles per hour and turns the landscape into an ally. It applies quiet, steady pressure, guiding the deer toward rocky inclines, muddy stream banks, or loose forest floor where every stride costs more than expected. Constant pressure quickly disrupts the deer's defensive formation. A single loss of footing can bring the pursuit to an immediate end. In high-elevation ecosystems, victory does not belong to the fastest, but to the one that understands the vertical terrain and knows when to finish at the right moment. In northern wetlands and open boreal forests, the moose appears like a prehistoric giant, the region's largest plant eater. An adult male carries antlers spanning more than 6 feet, and when pressured, it can counter instantly. For most lone predators, it is not simply prey, it is a high-risk opponent that can push back. That is why the grizzly does not choose a straight charge into a wall of antlers. It chooses to break the balance through terrain. Muddy slopes and water deeper than 2 feet can turn the moose's long-legged advantage into a weakness. Each heavy step into soft ground becomes a lost beat, a slower turn, a harder recovery. One wrong step is enough for the balance to shift. The grizzly applies pressure at the right moment, in the right place. Never rushed, only certain. If it works, the reward can reach around 400,000 calories, a critical reserve for the long winter ahead. But nature doesn't follow a fixed script. With a calf nearby, a female moose can become a living shield, so determined that every forward step from the grizzly becomes a gamble. This confrontation is not only a test of strength, it is a survival hand, where mud, timing, and resolve decide who earns the right to move forward into a harsh winter. Gray wolves operate like a collective machine across the valleys of Yellowstone. They accelerate up to 40 miles per hour, cut angles, close loops, and guide prey into precise control points that allow them to command a vast hunting range. Then the grizzly bear appears, not by charging, but simply by stepping in. Slow, heavy, and deliberate, its presence alone is enough to disrupt the wolves' familiar rhythm. In temperatures near 0 degrees Fahrenheit, every close approach must be recalculated because a single misstep carries real risk. The size difference immediately forms an invisible barrier. Each wolf weighs around 130 pounds, while a grizzly can stand nearly 9 feet tall, an imposing visual and psychological pressure that keeps the pack from closing distance. The wolves continue to circle, testing angles and trying to stretch the formation, but the gap refuses to shrink. Coordination signals drift, and the surrounding pattern begins to fracture. After multiple probing passes, the pack is forced to withdraw, not from weakness, but because this encounter offers no safe opening to advance. The meeting ends with a rule as cold as stone. Numbers do not always decide control. In the ocean, the orca is not only a hunter, but a measure of nature's discipline. Each tactic is a way of reading the seascape and conserving energy with precision. Encounters may end quickly, but what remains is a lesson in adaptation and the balance of ecosystems. If viewers want to keep following these dramatic wildlife stories, you can tap like and subscribe to stay along for the journey. The sea settles again, and nature continues to hold its law of balance.